Months of searching for a new Loyola president comes down to 3 finalists, their visit to campus, and more.
Plus, Rex Tillerson and the White House part ways as President Trump nominates a new Secretary of State.
And a handful of teams reach for Drew Brees, but he's here to stay. How low can the temperatures go? We'll have all these stories and coming up on today's PAC News.
Candidates for Loyola president are interviewing on campus this week. They'll have a private meeting with different representatives of the Loyola faculty, students, and alumni.
And none of the finalists are Jesuit priests, a first for Loyola. Reporter Tia Teamer tells us about the break from a 100-year tradition.
Loyola University, New Orleans began back in 1912, created by St. Ignatius, a Jesuit priest who believed in the power of education. Its charter has only allowed Jesuit priests to lead the university, but for the first time in its history, that will change.
The number of Jesuits over the years has gone down, it has diminished quite a bit.
With the spiraling decline of Jesuits over the past decade, Loyola University's Board of Trustees decided to change its charter, allowing laypersons to become president here. According to the Association of Jesuit Colleges and Universities, this trend is happening nationwide. 15 out of the 28 Jesuit institutions are led by non-Jesuits.
We knew in the 70s that we were going to be short of Jesuits 20 or 30 years out.
Loyola students are excited about broadening the background of those who come here to lead.
Having someone different would really be like, wow.
There's like options. They all like come from the same background and they all kind of run things the same way. And if you're inviting a more diverse base to the presidential search, you're going to get new and fresh ideas.
And while Loyola's next president is on track to being a non-Jesuit, trustees say they're committed to the school's Jesuit mission and values, which permeate its curriculum, culture, and campus. This is Tia Teamer with Loyola News Service.
The Board of Trustees expects to announce the new president this May.
As Loyola searches for a president to fit the bill, administrators are coming down on students who aren't paying theirs. Student Financial Services are enforcing a rule that anyone with unpaid tuition balances will be academically withdrawn. That means their IDs deactivated, restricting access to services on campus. Over 100 students were placed on the initial withdrawal list. All but one have had their IDs reactivated.
Run, hide, or fight back. That's what experts in the university want you to do if the campus faces an active shooter scenario. Shooting in Florida, Loyola University is teaching students what to do to stay alive. LUPD and the Officer of Risk Management walked students through the training. Experts say your first action should be to escape and avoid the shooter. If that's not an option, hide in the safest place possible. If it's not safe to run or hide, you fight back. When students are always looking to save a buck when dining out, imagine the prices were based on income. A pop-up restaurant in Central City did just that, in an effort to see if the price is right.
Sidney Holmes shows us what lessons this chef is serving up.
This may look like a regular restaurant, but it's actually a social experiment. One that teaches people about wealth inequality through food. Chef Tunde Wei came up with this idea after researching the wealth gap between black and white families in New Orleans. According to census data, the median income for black families in New Orleans is about $25,000, and for white families, about $64,000, which is 2.5 times more. And Wei wants to use food to bring that to people's attention.
My work is around like food and like social politics, and so like using food as this public intervention, using it as a platform to discuss certain things that aren't usually talked about.
That is why Wei is selling box lunches for $12 to people of color and suggesting that people who identify as white pay 2.5 times more than that, which is $30. The difference between the regular price and the suggested price would be redistributed to people of color who purchase food from the pop-up. Joni Burton chose to pay $30 for her meal after hearing about the wealth disparity.
Sounds like something right to do, like something fair. Putting it into this like frame, I think is really new for me because I think about it on like a larger like annual income, but I don't think about it in like the day-to-day like small purchases.
The power to exacerbate or ameliorate racial wealth disparity exists in the person, like through the choices that we make.
Way hopes his restaurant shows people that anyone is capable of ending wealth inequality. For Loyola News Service, I'm Sidney Holmes.
While the pop-up restaurant had different prices, they were optional. If you blare music from your headphones, you may want to listen up. Researchers warn that listening to loud music can be harmful, but some Loyola musicians are having a hard time receiving that message. Here's how one of those musicians is taking note. 20-year-old music major Allison Hassan has been playing the flute for years, but hearing the sweet sounds are getting more difficult. She is sensitive to sound and can barely hear low voices.
My whole sound life flashed before my eyes. And I realized that I could possibly have permanent hearing loss.
She now uses an app to measure the sound decibels during rehearsal. It maxed out for more than 5 minutes, meaning permanent hearing loss. Musicians are 4 times more likely to lose their hearing. That's according to German researchers who found that musicians top the charts for hearing loss. Professor of music Serena Warren urges her students like Allison to protect their inherited instrument and wear earplugs.
When you consider that sound protection and your ears are one of your most valuable senses and are required really to be a musician, that's something that's worth protecting.
For Hassan, she now wears earplugs every rehearsal, something she wishes she would have done years ago.
Being a musician, I want to be able to hear music.
Anna Knapp, Loyola News.
You're fired. That's what President Trump told his Secretary of State. Plus,
at home, Drew Brees is rehired. We'll tell you what Saints fans are talking about when we come back.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So. I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
in Alabama, at least one person is dead and several others are injured after a bus full of students crashed earlier this morning. The bus, headed back to Houston, veered off the I-10 and ended up in a 50-foot ravine. Authorities now say the driver was killed, and several members of a Texas high school band are injured. Local authorities are now investigating the cause of the crash.
President Trump tweets that Rex Tillerson is no longer the Secretary of State as of this morning.
Rex Tillerson returned from Africa earlier than planned, touching down in Washington around 4 a.m. on Tuesday. Just hours later, the president tweeted, "Mike Pompeo, director of the CIA, will become our new Secretary of State. He will do a fantastic job. Thank you to Rex Tillerson for his service." A short while later, Trump, before reporters, elaborated on what's been seen as a rocky tenure for Tillerson.
We got along actually quite well, but we disagreed on things. When you look at the Iran deal, I think it's terrible. I guess he thought it was okay. I wanted to either break it or do something, and he felt a little bit differently.
A particular area of disagreement, North Korea. Tillerson, aligned with Defense Chief Jim Mattis, pushed a more measured, less aggressive approach than the president. And Trump said last week's announcement for plans to meet with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un was made without his top diplomat.
Rex wasn't, as you know, in this country. I made the North Korea decision with consultation from many people, but I made that decision by myself.
Tillerson did not have diplomatic experience before his role in the Trump administration. He was a career employee at ExxonMobil, rising to CEO of the oil giant. Sources say President Trump has been talking about replacing Tillerson with Pompeo for months. Pompeo will have to be confirmed by the Senate again for his new role. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Deputy Director of the Central Intelligence Agency, Gina Haspel, is expected to replace Mike Pompeo. She will become the first female director of the CIA.
There's a local twist to Mississippi's U.S. Senate race this fall. Reporter Sean Brennan tells us about the Loyola connection.
The Mississippi midterm elections may be far and away for most New Orleanians, but for Merritt and Bess Barria, the action is much closer to home.
We're pretty young. That's Bess. That's my mom.
Their dad, David Barria, has been a member of the state's Congress since 2008, and as of last week, he's a candidate in the upcoming U.S. Senate election.
Raising money is always hard, especially as a Democrat in Mississippi.
Merritt, a senior at Loyola, was her father's campaign manager in his last race.
Streamlined his social media, started boosting some of his posts, that kind of stuff, so helped out with his social media presence.
Bess, a sophomore, is also preparing for Barria's biggest campaign yet.
And it's like a non-stop job. It needs to be done constantly. Like when he was running for state, he would literally canvass the entire county. So I'll be knocking on a lot of doors.
There's a long campaign ahead for Barria and his family leading up to November. But with the current political climate in the country, experts say now there's a stronger chance for a Democrat to win in this historically Republican state.
Midterm elections see a swing against the party of the president. There are two factors that impact that. One is the president's popularity, and two is the state of the economy. Once you throw your hat in the ring, it's a 24/7 marathon towards the finish line.
And the marathon has started for the Barrias. And while Merritt won't be the campaign manager this time around, she hopes her lessons from Loyola play a part in her father's race.
Americans today are actually more alike, agree on more issues than they ever have in the past. If you can break through people's barriers of I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat, and actually get the message across, I think that will be really beneficial, and I think he'll have a really good shot at winning.
Sean Brennan, Loyola News Service.
Drew Brees is here to stay. Brian Wollitz will have more in sports.
And just how cold will it get tonight? Nick Reimann will have more when we come back.
I dare you. I dare you to change the world. Yeah, you. Getting that college education. I dare you to be somebody important. Like be a teacher or a reality TV star. I dare you to stand up here. To call the shots. To be a role model.
An inspiration. An innovator.
To be a teacher.
Think you can change my life?
Make me excited about science like you. Have a career that really means something? Then do it. I dare you.
Cold temperatures continue to chill the greater New Orleans.
Nick's here to tell us more. Nick, when will it be safe to put the jackets away?
Well, Caleb, I don't know about you, but I've been enjoying it. I haven't been wearing a jacket, but I know some of you don't like cold weather. If you do, though, starting off this morning, 46 degrees, it was great. But if you want to put that jacket away, you're going to have to wait a little while. But going forward into this afternoon, by 3 o'clock and especially by 5 with temperatures in the 70s, ooh, you can put that jacket away. It'll be feeling like beach weather. And we can see that moderation already across the area as we look at the local temperatures. As we can see on the South Shore, 60 at the lakefront, 59 Kenner, 61 Reserve. These were 40s across the area the other day, on the North Shore especially. Now it's moderated into the 50s, 55 Macomb, 57 Baton Rouge, 54 Bogalusa, 59 in Homa. It's really warming up a little bit. And it's not just nice temperatures that we're looking at. Let's look at the radar for the local area. We can see nothing going on here. No clouds, no rain really across from Mandeville, New Orleans, North Shore, South Shore, all the way to Lafayette and over to Mississippi. It's really clear, sunny conditions. And it's not just New Orleans that's getting lucky with the nice weather. Let's look at the national radar as well. We can see from coast to coast, all across, especially the center of the country here, really not a lot going on. No rain, nothing to really speak of. And that nor'easter that we were dealing with the other day, that's the remnants of it. It is out of here. So that snow that they were dealing with in the Northeast that was getting your flights delayed going into New York, well, don't have to worry about that anymore. The only things we have to worry about are across the West Coast. But here in New Orleans, we don't really have to worry about that. And as we can see with national temperatures as well, it's been moderating not just in New Orleans, but this whole big ridge across Texas and Oklahoma, Arkansas, all across, the middle south over here. 64 in Houston, 69 in Brownsville. It's going to be really warm there during the day. And those 70s down there are going to be coming up here where it's 59 degrees right now. Looking up north, though, it's still 54 in Nashville, 54 Kansas City, 43 in Denver. But that's okay. That's where those temperatures are supposed to be, way up north, not down here in New Orleans where we're at a nice 59 degrees. But as we look at tonight, they'll be coming back a little bit. 34 to 39 north, 44 to 49 south with some frost. So Caleb, if you're looking to put that jacket away, you can do that today, this afternoon, but you're going to have to put it right back on tonight. And let's see if that's going to continue going into the 7-day. As we look at it, looking for your St. Patrick's Day forecast, it's going to be much warmer, 77 degrees for St. Patrick's Day, looking like a little bit of rain, and then warming up, and that'll continue into next week.
Thanks, Nick. I can't wait for this weekend because I love cold weather.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That sounds cooler than expected.
Up next, Drew Brees is here to stay, but for how long? That and more coming up.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Good news in the Saints world. Brian, can you tell us more about the Saints?
Yeah, big news for Houdat Nation. Drew Brees is back with the Saints. The future Hall of Famer signs a 2-year deal worth $50 million with $27 million guaranteed. With Brees re-signed, the black and gold can now address the remaining needs on their roster as free agency opens tomorrow. And well, folks, it's March, and you know what that means. It's time to fill in those brackets because the NCAA tournament is here. College basketball fanatics around the country will be watching as the tournament begins tonight with the first game tipping off at 5:40 p.m. So be sure to tune in and watch the madness go down. And after going on a 10-game win streak, the Pelicans dropped their last 2, both by more than 15 points. In Sunday's loss to the Jazz, however, MVP candidate Anthony Davis posted a triple-double with 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 blocks, all coming on his 25th birthday. The Pels, now 5th place in the Western Conference, look for their superstar to come up big again as they take on the Charlotte Hornets at Smoothie King Center tonight at 7. And finally, one Loyola senior is being recognized as a Conference Player of the Week for what he's been doing on the hardwood. But it's what he's done off the court that makes his story so special. Meet number 55, Ben Fields, a Loyola senior basketball standout and a Southern States Athletic Conference Player of the Week. Ben's had more than 10 points and 10 rebounds in most games since January.
To be able to have those double-doubles happen, but most of all get those W's for my team, that was an amazing feeling.
And for this team, wins it's been. They've gone 16-12, giving them a spot in the conference tournament semifinals. The team, however, says Ben deserves much of the credit.
All our guys look up to Ben and know what kind of character he has, and he's just been an emotional leader for us, you know, at least over the last 2 years.
He's like our spiritual leader. You know, he'll lead us in prayer after practice, you know, help us break down after practice. You know, he's always there for you if you need him, and he's always been that way since I've known him.
But he hasn't always been able to be on the court with his teammates. He spent grueling hours and hours in rehab after suffering a torn left ACL his freshman year, a torn right ACL and meniscus his sophomore year, and a ruptured left Achilles his junior year.
But it's just, I guess, not in my nature to give up. Like, it hasn't been in my nature to just stop.
And after battling back from injury after injury, right here at Loyola, his journey comes full circle as he takes to the Wolfpack's home court one final time for his senior night.
It was exciting to hear my name called, hear my accolades, see my coaches cheer me on. Coach Stacy gave me a chance 4 years ago, and I'm just happy to be able to finish this for him, finish this for my family, finish this for my friends.
And finishing with a final victory on the home court, beating Blue Mountain College 72-62, with Ben scoring 9 points and 9 rebounds. And after basketball, Ben plans on taking what he's learned from his business classes to help teach financial literacy to kids to help them succeed. Just an amazing story. And you guys seen that? Ben's an amazing guy.
I know, I can't believe he does that. That's great that he reaches beyond Loyola and helps kids.
Yeah, that's an inspiring story.
Thanks, Brian. Coming up, Fitbit is getting smart.
Are Fitbits getting a jump on Apple Watches? Find out after the break.
all health fanatics, Fitbit has developed a new smartwatch to improve your workouts.
The waterproof Versa comes with a heart rate monitor and a steps and workout tracker. Those are all features also offered by the Apple Watch, but the Versa lacks a GPS and a cellular connection option. It boasts a battery life of up to 4 days. The Versa costs $200. That's $129 less than the latest Apple Watch. Fitbit also revealed Tuesday its first fitness tracker for the kids, the Fitbit Ace. The Ace is similar to the Fitbit Alta, tracking sleep, steps, and physical activity.
Wow, you have to watch out for the Apple Watch and the Fitbits.
I don't know, I'm more of an Apple fanboy myself.
Gotta watch out for this watch, man. It's got a clock on it.
They're really stepping it up
Yeah,
with all those steps.
looks like those watches got a lot of good features. We'll have to check it out.
Well, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.